Hey everyone, I'm Nato King, and last time on Let's Play Folklore, we went through a portal and into the Netherworld, the land of the dead. It's got lots of pretty flowers. And lots of butterflies. So this is what the Netherworld is like. For now, this is a safe zone. Nothing's going to attack me here. But as Scarecrow warns, once I leave this area, I'm open to attack. Hopefully someone's going to teach me how to fight before then. This guy's just an ordinary fairy. Yeah, they welcome the living, but the living don't get to tread here very often. Now, up here is someone who's going to be a little more interesting to talk to. Or at least, more helpful. There's one of these fairies in every Faery Realm, and he's kind of a tutorial. And he even manages to pronounce things in brackets. Yeah, that glowing square I stepped on before was where the portal would be if this weren't the prologue. The portals have a double function of both save points and recovery. Yep, that's the combat in the game. You absorb the ids of enemies, and then use them to fight the rest of your enemies. It's basically like Pokemon, except netherworldier. In other words, certain folks are vulnerable to different elements, and we'll be getting various elements of attack throughout the game. Not very many, but they're used creatively. Well, the cloak, and the handy tutorial messages that'll pop up. So, the game will give a quick tour of our interface. Hit points are, of course, a thing in almost every game. Mental capacity basically just prevents you from using too many folks too quickly. It rarely becomes an issue. And you can assign different folks to every button on the controller. The two folks that we met so far are Poke, which is a basic attack, and Kilmulis is a shield. Shields are pretty important. Although you do have evasive maneuvers, and most of the folks around here don't attack very much. So you just clobber it with any attack you've got until the red id pops out. And motion controls let you steal the id from it. It's actually pretty smooth. And one of the most satisfying motion controls I've ever seen. Kilmulis uses up a decent chunk of my mental capacity for the moment, but I can sustain a shield indefinitely until it gets hit. The only weakness Kilmulis has is one hit will destroy the shield. But usually all you need to do is block one hit at a time. I'm trying to get both of these guys at the same time, because if you absorb multiple ids, you get an experience bonus. Like the game says. And it's a simple matter of targeting them both and yanking the controller upward to rip the ids out of their bodies. It's actually satisfying. Just like, yank it out of there. Now we get a bunch of Kilmulis to fight. They can block your attacks, but they rarely do, at least in the prologue. Later in the game, they're probably going to get more defensive. And you don't want to leave the red ids too long, or they'll go right back into their bodies again. And eventually they'll just drop dead without being absorbed if you hit them too much. That does have its advantages later in the game, but for now I actually do want to absorb these guys, because I find it rather annoying to have to deal with only having a 2-hit combo. There we go. If you absorb enough ids from the same kind of folk, sometimes that'll unlock new powers, like the game is telling you about here. And specifically, the one for Poke unlocks a 3-hit combo. And wave after wave of enemies, mostly just to get you used to the fighting. There's very little actual threat here. Oh, 4 at once. Can I do it? Double experience. And the battle music fades out to let me know that there are no more folk waiting to attack me here. So let's check out the menu screen quickly. There's one other folk there, which is downloaded content. I'm going to pretend I don't have that for the moment. So you can see the stats of the various folks you've got, a little bit of information about them, and what you have to do to unlock the karmas and increase their abilities. Looks like 4 more Poke absorptions, and I'll get the full 4-hit combo. And I think that's extra attack power if I use 10 Pulse Tree Nuts, but they're going to be hard to come by in the prologue. Kilmulis, no attack power, because it's a shield. It isn't capable of attacking. So I just have to absorb more of it, and I'll unlock its various karmas. It won't even tell me what I have to do for the other ones until I've unlocked them. So I could go onward, but I do want to head back because there's another room I can get to here. And there may be something interesting in it. It's been a very long time since I played any of the early parts of the game, so I don't quite remember everything about it. In fact, I don't remember most of the story except for the ending. So it ought to be fun. Now there's a different folk. This is Henki, I believe. Just hit it a couple times. And now I've absorbed a new id, so I've got Henki on my attack wheel. Naturally, since Henki is water elemental, its own water elemental attack doesn't do a whole lot to it. In fact, I had to hit it more times to get its red id to pop out after hitting it with a water attack. But just so you can see what it looks like. It's a water attack that launches up into the air a bit, and you can charge it up. I don't even think that uses more mind capacity, it just takes longer. So let's try using it against Poke here, see how it does. The upward arc isn't going to be of much use unless I get very close. And it's just easier at this point to bash everything with Poke itself. Couple more of them and I'll have the full attack combo, which is what I'm really going after here. And of course, more experience never hurts. You get extra health and extra mental capacity. Does take a while though. I'd say there's never really any point in the game where you're actually going to want to hang around and grind for experience. Karmas maybe, experience no. So now I've got the full 4-hit combo, and Kilmulis uses less mental capacity. I think that's the only thing that its karmas are going to do for me is decrease MC consumption. You gotta make sure you've got a good angle when you're going after the ids. If you can't see one, you can't target it. Not usually a problem. I'm not sure that I'm getting a whole lot of experience out of these guys for the multiplier to help me all that much. But any bonus you can get is a good bonus. I should be just about finished with this, I think. Alright, those stones you can just smash. Sometimes they'll have treasures in them. In this case, I'm getting life drops. I think the large ones are a full recovery and the small ones are just a little bit. They can also drop items, but the ones that you get from stones rather than enemies are usually not very important. Well, enough people refer to something by a certain word, and everyone will start using it. As you can probably guess, this isn't actually a timed sequence, it's just you advance the plot and then time moves on. We get another tutorial here. Mostly stuff that I already know, but useful advice for battles. That is how I fight most of my battles, though, tossing folks at the enemy. Yeah, lock-ons and evading, I didn't really talk about much. I think I used them during that fight. They're just pretty natural. Picture book pages, far from being collectibles, actually tell you how to fight. We'll get those once we get into the actual chapters of the game. And the rest of these things aren't really tutorials, they're kinda subtle clues to the story of the game. It is quite a question. What happens to those who die in the land of the dead? So now we actually need to find items that belong to the recently departed in order to make our way back into the Netherworld. And we'll be doing some of that in the near future. But for now, let's go back and see the prologue again from Keats's perspective next time.